Dear friends, I'm operator Starsky, and today is day 1083 of Russia's desperate invasion of Ukraine. Russians intensify their attempts to capture Pokhrovsk. Trump called Putin to settle the war. French Mirage aircrafts arrived to Ukraine. What does it mean to the Ukrainian defenders? This is the Frontline Focus. Let's roll. The Russian invaders have intensified their attacks in eastern Ukraine. The Ukrainian General Staff reported 125 Russian attacks on Saturday and 133 on Sunday, primarily targeting the city of Pokhrovsk in the Donetsk region. In the Russian border region of Kursk, Ukrainian forces have observed renewed activity involving North Korean soldiers fighting alongside Russian troops. Following a brief withdrawal since mid-January, these units have resumed attacks in the area, trying to recapture their positions. The Ukrainian 47th Brigade reported that the enemy has shifted tactics, now deploying more infantry groups rather than relying primarily on vehicles. Additional reports indicate that thousands of North Korean workers entered Russia in 2024, allegedly for construction jobs. Many of these individuals arrived on student visas, with the number of North Koreans entering Russia for educational purposes in 2024 being the highest since 2019. This may be an attempt by Russians to address the labor shortages in both civilian and defense sectors. Over the past 3 months, Russia has experienced significant increase in battlefield casualties, averaging over 1,500 troops lost per day. This surge corresponds with intensified assaults in Ukraine and Ukrainian-occupied Kursk. Despite efforts to boost recruitment through offering financial benefits and decreasing medical requirements, Russia is struggling to replace its losses, leading to potential challenges in sustaining their military operations. Also this week, Ukraine managed to eliminate the whole command of the Russian 35th Brigade in the occupied town of Selidovo with a precision strike. The Russian obituaries in the Telegram channel served as a good confirmation that the strike was a success. The US President Donald Trump had a call with an international war criminal Putin. However, the Russian spokesman Peskov didn't confirm that this call took place. Trump is thinking about using sanctions to push Russia to negotiate, according to General Keith Kellogg. He might also meet with Putin in person to discuss peace. However, at this point, the date and place of such meeting has not been set. Will Trump's diplomatic efforts will be enough to force Putin to stop the aggression against Ukraine? Fact is, Putin has certain demands for peace. He wants Ukraine to give up some areas, decimate Ukrainian armed forces, expand Russian culture, and establish the Russian Church in Ukraine, which, as we know, was based on the Russian KGB. And of course, Putin doesn't want Ukraine to join alliances like NATO, which means Russia will always be able to strike again and again. Until these demands are met, Putin is not ready to end the war, while to Ukraine these demands basically mean losing its sovereignty. From a military standpoint, Putin wants to use Carpathian Mountains, which is in the West Ukraine, to protect his empire from the East European NATO countries. Also, he wants to acquire full control over the Black Sea on the south of Ukraine and access to Poland and Baltic states on the northwest of the country. There are numerous facts that indicate that Russia has a long-range plans to continue its aggression, not only against Ukraine, but possibly against the European countries as well. For example, only yesterday, Germany reported that several unknown UAVs were spotted over the training camp where Ukrainian troops were learning how to operate the Patriot systems. It wasn't the first case, of course. There were numerous UAVs reported around Europe observing the military exercises that involved Ukrainian personnel and NATO instructors. Also, we all remember numerous cases of Russian shadow fleet vessels attacking European communication cables, let alone the enormous Russian informational warfare in the EU and the US that involves fake media and bots created by Russian communication agencies. All this doesn't happen chaotically, my friends. It's a part of the Russian strategy aimed at reaching specific military objectives. From an industrial perspective, stopping the war, of course, will not benefit Putin as well. Last year, NATO confirmed that Russia is boosting its weapon production, and currently the military industry has become a key part of Russia's economy, along with its oil and its gas export. It's also worth saying that the Russian military industry is facing absolutely enormous government spending, driving its growth. As of this point, Russia is spending almost 1/3 of its budget on the war and weapons production. Therefore, ending the war before reaching Russia's strategic objectives will introduce economical challenges. Simultaneously with growing its military potential, Russia is strengthening its military relationship with North Korea. For example, expanding the production of combat drones of different range on the North Korean territory. We know that both countries actively share military technologies, increasing their firepower. In addition, multiple reports indicate that Russia is taking Ukrainian miners and placing them in the military camps within Russia and occupied Crimea. In those camps, they are subjected to military training and indoctrination that is aimed to instill pro-Russian sentiments and prepare the kidnapped Ukrainian teenagers for future military roles. The good news is that Trump administration is aware of those challenges. At least Marco Rubio is definitely aware of the risks, and there is a big possibility that the peace plan offered to President Trump by President Zelensky may become a foundation for the Trump's strategy regarding his future communication with Kremlin. Fingers crossed. Yesterday, Ukraine received its first delivery of Mirage aircraft, according to the French Minister of Defense Lecornu and Ukrainian Minister Umerov. The planes were relocated to Ukraine by the combat pilots who received training in France. It also means that the necessary infrastructure for operating those aircrafts in Ukraine has already been established in the country. The French Mirage aircraft are capable of carrying air-to-air and air-to-ground weaponry, including missiles like Storm Shadow, also known as Scalp. With a range of almost 1,700 kilometers without additional fuel tanks, it makes these aircraft capable of targeting crucial Russian military infrastructure, supply lines, and command centers. Additionally, those aircraft are equipped with advanced electronic warfare systems to counteract Russian defenses and improve survivability during missions. And of course, one of their primary tasks will be intercepting Russian aerial threats like cruise missiles and drones targeting Ukrainian infrastructure. Since Mirage is a delta-wing aircraft, it can operate relatively well at slow speeds, which is convenient for intercepting the slow-flying targets like Shahed. Since Russia ramps up its drone and missile production, it's obvious that French Mirage aircraft will play an important role in saving Ukrainian lives, since Ukraine still requires boosting its air defense to protect the cities from the Russian attacks. Dear friends, please subscribe to stay informed about the most important updates and share this content to help Ukraine be heard. See you in the commentaries. I'm Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.